So what does a travel team trap do? Well, for one thing, it disrupts family culture. And Harrison Butker was just talking about that. He didn't go to church. How many people do you know who used to go to church and don't because of this? This was a Protestant minister who started having church on Thursdays. Not so people could go on Thursdays and Sundays, but so that they could go on Thursdays instead of Sundays. And he said, we can give people their weekends back. It's like, not back. God's the one who made the Sabbath. You're not giving it back. You're taking it away from him. And part of the reason was travel sports. So there are Protestant churches who have stopped meeting on Sundays because the weekend belongs to travel sports. And then on the family culture, if you guys have been in this trap, you know how it is. You're 2 states away every other weekend, every long weekend. It's, dad gets to go with son, that's good. You get to hang out with these other dads, that's good. Mom is home with 4 of the kids. Family dinner is sort of a aspiration instead of a reality. It breaks up the family culture. Now, is that normal? Increasingly, yes. Are we supposed to be normal? No, we're supposed to be Christians. St. Paul said, be not conformed to this age. I talked to one dad, his kids were great baseball players. He said, they're never going to do travel ball because before my kids were old enough to even start, at my office, I knew multiple dads who had gone through travel team divorces. And he said there was every explanation for it. Whether it was the travel and then the parents and the drinking at the hotels and infidelity, or whether it was just a disconnection between husbands and wives because you're always away. The travel team divorce, I believe, is a real thing. It hasn't been measured, but it's real. Also, university, let me put it another way. It doesn't work. Jacob deGrom, I told you I'm a Mets fan. He's a former Met. He was, for a while, the best pitcher in baseball. He was, until his junior year of college, a shortstop. He never pitched until he was 21, and then he came in, stepped in, and he was the best in baseball. The U.S. men's soccer goalie a few years ago, he had never played goalie until he was like 16 or 17. Both of these guys, I am sure, knocked out of a starting job some kid whose parents had invested every bit of free time to build them up to be the next thing. It doesn't work. Natural talent will win out. If your kid's super talented, let him play a bunch of sports. Eventually, he'll rise up. If your kid's moderately talented, sorry, the number of reps you give him in the batting cage, it could develop some virtues if you do it right, but if you do it for the sake of sports achievement, it's not going to pay off. University of Kansas researchers a few years back looked at specializers. These are kids who gave up their other sports to play one. Found that basically across every measure, they were worse off. They burned out more. They reported more exhaustion. They disliked their sports more, but more interestingly, they reported a lower sense of accomplishment. Now, objectively, a lot of these specializers were much more accomplished. They were getting, all state, they were getting this, they were getting that, but their sense of accomplishment was lower. And this shows you what a losing game this is. You give up hiking, you give up hanging out with your family, you give up camping, you give up just hanging out with friends to become the best tennis player in the state, and eventually it doesn't make you feel like you accomplished anything. And it's dangerous. Why? Because unless your daughter is Venus or Serena Williams or your son is Harrison Butker, they're not going to be the best. They're going to climb up the ladder and eventually reach a point where everybody's better than them. Or they're better than everybody in their county, but now they're the 50th best in the state. And so then they feel this profound sense of failure. And failing is actually crucial for kids. You should make sure your kids fail all the time. I do my best to defeat my children at every sporting event ever. There's a great picture, I should have brought a slide of here, of me my son Sean is taking a shot and I just jump up and you just see I'm about to totally swat it. Sean's 7 at the time, but if they fail at the thing to which they attach their sense of worth, then that's destructive. And this is where it really gets bad. It's where it's not just about family time or about, I can go to the vigil mass instead. This is about what are you teaching your son or daughter, what their meaning is, what their value is. If you put all your money, all your time, and every question you ask is about the sport, you're teaching them that their value has to do with their accomplishments. And this isn't just about sports. This is true if it's violin. If it's in the Northeast, it's Irish dance or whatever it is. If they attach their sense of worth to worldly achievements, you are teaching them an anthropology that is very modern, that fits very well with this day, but does not fit with Christian anthropology.